Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Titans Tube. My name is Justin, and this is Jake here with me. And, there's no Titans game this week, but we decided we're still going to make a little picks video and kind of discuss these playoff games here on Super Wildcard Weekend. I guess that's what they're calling it now, Jake.
Yes.
Dude, super excited. Dude, I love it. This is like my favorite time of football season, especially when the Titans are in the playoff field. Just looking at all these games, getting excited on a full slate of NFL football this weekend. And I don't know, does anybody else just like, Jake, do you ever just like stare at the playoff bracket for just like hours at a time, just admiring it and going through scenarios in your head and then looking at the Titans in the top seed? Is it just me? Am I a nerd, or does anybody else do that? It's a good time to be a Titans fan right now.
Yeah, it is. And it's a good time to stare at that bracket. I was going to say, I probably wouldn't stare at it with the Titans as, maybe one of the teams playing this weekend. But since we got that number one spot, it's just like, well, I misplaced my champagne glass for our celebration here. But it's nice to sit back and watch and let the teams come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to make it that much more relaxing and stress-free, knowing the Titans have already advanced to the second round. But man, I'm excited about pretty much all these matchups. So let's get it started here, Jake. Two AFC games on Saturday, starting at 3:30. We've got the LA Raiders at the 5 seed, sneaking like out of the playoff picture. Then boom, they win against the Chargers. Then bam, they're the 5th seeded wild card team, I guess, as far as tiebreakers go. They made it all the way up there. So congrats to the Raiders going to Cincinnati to play the AFC North Bengals. And Jake, something's got to give between these two teams, because these two teams' last playoff win, it was the Raiders back in 2002. And then before that, it was the Bengals in 1990. So one of these fan bases is going to be jumping for joy. I mean, this is... Surprisingly, Jake, this is the first playoff game for Derek Carr, because when they made it back in 2016, he had broken his fibula, the fibula year with him and Mariota.
Yeah.
Long time coming for Derek Carr. Super happy for him. And then, of course, happy for that Bengals franchise. Getting back to the playoffs, they had a few playoff appearances with Andy Dalton, but we'll see if they can finally get that win here, Jake. So fascinating game. Raiders are hot, and we know how hot this Bengals offense is now with Joe Burrow and all those young receivers. What do you like in this game, and how do you see in this matchup playing out?
Man, you can just feel it here in Southwest Ohio, just like a collective breath holding as it stands right now. I just feel like Bengals fans are wound up like a top, man. Especially, you mentioned it, Andy Dalton took the Bengals to 5 straight playoff appearances. And they were all losses, Justin. They were all losses every single time. They would be all the way up, and they were confident, and then fall off a cliff 5 years in a row. The only thing comparable you can think to that is like the Buffalo Bills in the 90s losing 4 straight Super Bowls. That's way worse.
The way they
obviously.
Lost too. Remember those teams with TJ Yates leading the Texans would go on the road and take them down at least twice. And then they had that Steelers game debacle with the 2 straight personal fouls, knocking out Antonio Brown. Pac-Man Jones shoves a coach or something. What a debacle. They've had the just worst luck when it comes to the playoffs. Just the way they've lost too is just that much more heart-wrenching in some of those games.
Oh, totally brutal. I'll never forget watching that Bengals-Steelers game, just because, the fan bases I'm surrounded with is Bengals, Steelers. Browns are a little more north than where I'm at. So it was classic to see, your friends and family members squabbling over this game where it's both teams are trying to lose. I'll never forget watching that game. It was an absolute blast. But Justin, without further ado, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. I said it last week. I feel like they're playing with swagger, and we're going to find out really, really soon if Joe Burrow is ready to take that next evolution and next step in his NFL career, because we know he's got the talent. We know he's got the poise and the presence, and he has every intangible to be a franchise quarterback. But, you got to go win a couple of playoff games to get that under your belt first. And I do think that the Bengals, playing with house money, playing with confidence, is going to outlast a Raiders squad who had to scratch and claw and have things break their way down the stretch with so much adversity kind of in that front half, that I just think the Bengals are going to kind of outlast them, have a little more energy, especially with resting Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, etc. So I got the Bengals, Justin.
That's true. I tend to excuse me. I tend to agree, Jake. I do like the Bengals at home here, but you have that feeling. I don't really know. I kind of know what to expect from the Raiders, but again, they have that feeling of they're playing with nothing to lose. They're kind of like, we didn't expect to be in this position, especially with how John Gruden left the team and all the adversity, and everyone now is talking about this team is resilient. And we've seen Titans teams, we're just resilient. And hey, we were that team in 2017 when we went on the road and knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card round at home. We played like a team that had nothing to lose, and we are just out there, as Ben Roethlisberger had put it this week. We're just going to go have fun, and we'll just see what happens. So that could be something that the Raiders, carry with them, kind of the chip on their shoulder there, and could maybe surprise the Bengals. But I really like this Bengals team, and if the Titans weren't in the playoffs this year, I think I would latch on to the Cincinnati Bengals bandwagon because I like their team and I like what they're doing. They're just really young and inexperienced right now. So how's that going to fare for them in the playoff run? But they still scare me. So for the record, I'm kind of crossing my fingers for a Raiders upset here because I really don't want to see these Cincinnati Bengals come to Nashville because I think this is a very dangerous team. But as far as this game goes, I think their offense will just be a bit too much for the Raiders defense to be able to contain. So I do got the Bengals, but man, it's the Raiders, they've got some pieces to execute the formula, get after Joe Burrow, Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue, longtime Jacksonville Jag. Man, if they can generate some pressure, keep that offense contained a little bit, I think they'll have a chance. But I think the Bengals will move on as well to the next round. So both got the Bengals there.
I am also, I wanted to add, Justin, I'm also crossing my fingers for a Raiders victory. That's a good little caveat there because I feel like the Bengals are the most probable team to come out of this super wild card weekend and come to Nashville next week. And like we said, a team playing with house money is quite dangerous.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe the Raiders, they can pull one off here. But let's move on here for Saturday night. Staying in the AFC, we've got the Patriots at the Bills. Just another interesting game, another interdivision game. These teams split the season series, both winning. Both teams won on the road in this divisional series matchup, but this one at home for the Bills. I doubt the Bills fans are too happy. The Patriots again. We got to get past the Patriots. But man, I'll be honest with you. I for some reason, it's hard for me to see the Patriots getting this one on the road against the Bills. It just feels like this is the Bills' game here to win. And it's crazy to say with, how the Patriots have looked at times this season. Plus, you got Bill Belichick in the playoffs, and it would be foolish to sell him short to say that he could drop this game. But they are underdogs coming into this game. I'm gonna give you the pick. I'll take the Bills at home here. But how I can see the Patriots winning. I mean, they've got to be able to, in my opinion, start fast. I think they need a touchdown on the board in the first quarter for sure. I mean, if this game goes 14-0 Buffalo, I think this game's over in the first half. I think Mac Jones' first playoff game against a tough secondary, a tough defense, is not going to be able to play catch up and throw to these decent but not great wide receivers. Let's just be honest. So if the Patriots get down early, I think this game's over. They've got to make this a tough, grinded out game and kind of just keep this game within one possession until the fourth quarter and make a move and try to snag a road upset here. But I just see it. It's going to be tough sledding. I just think the Bills are the better overall team, and they've been waiting for this moment since their season ended last year, back in the playoffs, hosting a game as division champs. And I think they get the win here. Anyway, what about you?
I like it, Justin. I'm right there with you about the Patriots needing to keep it close early. I think that's a really, really good point. You did leave one thing out, and as a weather science major in college, I believe it's going to be cold as balls at kickoff. I think that's the actual scientific term. Yeah. I think it's going to be below zero with wind chill and everything. So a lot of things going around and about. And Justin, I remember I attended the coldest home game in Tennessee Titans history. It was the Week 17 winning in game against the Jacksonville Jaguars that the Titans ended up winning. And so for the people of Buffalo who may be listening to a Titans YouTube podcast, I don't really know why you would be. But I remember a Titans fan gave me a piece of knowledge that I'll always carry with me, and it's to bring cardboard into the game because the concrete at your feet can get so cold that if you put a few layers of cardboard underneath your feet, it can separate it, keep them warm. And I'm just trying. I'm all
trying
about
to share the
comfort.
knowledge.
Yeah, as Justin knows, I was well prepared for that Titans cold weather game against Miami a couple of weeks ago. So all that being said, Justin, it's going to be an interesting cold weather game in Buffalo. I'm glad that Buffalo gets to have yet another postseason game. You love seeing them host in January and having teams go up and face that weather as well as the Bills. Justin, long story short, man, I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. I feel like, I mean, you think back to the last time the Patriots were in Buffalo this season. Weather wasn't kind then either. Bill Belichick throws 3 passes on the day. Well, I guess Mac Jones threw them. But, Bill Belichick's going to come with some kind of 4D chess, mind galaxy game plan, especially in the freezing cold weather. And there's going to be some mind games included. So that long story short, I just can't bet against Bill Belichick in the playoffs, Justin. And just something about this Buffalo Bills team doesn't seem quite the same as it was last year, or maybe even early this season. So they don't scare me all that much. I'm taking the Pats.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it happen. And, I would take that too. Because, if the Patriots won, they're likely the ones coming to Nashville. So as far as the rooting interest goes, that would also keep the Bengals from traveling to Nashville for the divisional round, as if the Patriots won, because we'll play that lower seed there. Mm-hmm. So I'd be okay with it. I'm hoping either for a Raiders or a Bills win here, but I'm picking against them. I'm picking the home teams to win here. But we'll see. I mean, obviously Belichick has been there, done that, and he knows the formula to win the playoffs. But moving on here to Sunday, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, kicking off at noon. Man, how about these Philadelphia Eagles sneaking into the playoffs this year at a 9-8 record? I think we've mentioned before, feels maybe like a year early for this to be a playoff team, but hey, they've earned it, and that running attack is no joke, Jake. And I think they're going to have to lean on that to have a chance in this game against the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This would be one of the biggest upsets if the Eagles were able to pull this off. But hey, like the Raiders, they're probably pretty happy to be here and an opportunity to go on the road and take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, defending champions. I think they're going to be excited to play in this game. They're going to be ready, motivated. They're going to be physical and try to lean on this run game, get Justin Hurts going. Can the Bucs defense handle these option plays that they're going to have to defend? Should be an interesting one, Jake. Do the Eagles have a chance here? Who do you got?
The Eagles most definitely have a chance, Justin. As Titans fans, we know that there is always a chance. Especially when it comes to these playoff games. We saw it in the playoff run that the Titans had in 2019. The odds and deck is stacked against you week after week. And you know what? If you can go out there and just, as Big Ben said, have fun and see what happens, you might end up on the winning side of things. That being said, I think the Eagles can keep this game close. I think it will be closer than a lot of people are thinking. But I do think Tom Brady is not quite done with his run of dominance in the NFL playoffs, Justin. I think the Bucs edge him out at home just by a thin margin. It'll be a close, good game, but I don't think Philly can keep up.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. I do see a close game here, but ultimately I think the Buccaneers will come out victorious. I think eventually, surely, this might be a dumb thing to say, but surely the loss of Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown is going to catch up to that offense and hold them back at some point. I would never want to doubt Tom Brady to be throwing to what was supposed to be a practice squad player for touchdowns in Super Bowls, or in the Super Bowl this year, is entirely within the realm of his possibilities and his abilities. But eventually, surely this offense, I think they are getting Leonard Fournette back, which will help the running game.
Playoff Lenny.
Yeah, playoff Lenny, dude. He showed out in the playoff run for him last year. So they might need him if their air attack starts struggling without their weapons. But we'll see. I do think they get past this game. But man, I'm honestly really excited to see this game and how well the Eagles can compete and stay with the Bucs. I would love to see it. I would love to see an upset here. But yeah, I guess boring safe us. We're gonna go with with the Buccaneers at home. So another sweep here in the playoffs. Next game here, though, Jake, we've got the San Francisco 49ers on the road against the NFC East champion Dallas Cowboys. Again, this might be the game I'm looking forward to most in the NFC. I'm not sure if these teams played in the regular season, but man, Cowboys, you guys better be careful here. You better be careful. This San Francisco team is just like, they're really sound and good. I don't know exactly what they do spectacularly. They have Deebo Samuel. That's what they do spectacularly. That dude can run, throw, pass, run, catch, pass. He can throw and pass both at the same time.
It's impressive.
But they play solid defense. And I went back, I did a little bit of digging with their schedule and their standings. And this team, Jake, has gone 7-2 in the last 9 games. With and one of them being an overtime road loss to the Titans in Nashville on a short week on a Thursday night football. So still had a very good chance to win that game. This team's playing really good football, and they swept the Rams in that time frame too, the division champion of the NFC West. So this team's battle tested. They've beaten good teams. They're playing really well right now. I know I haven't really said anything about the Cowboys yet, but I'm leading into the San Francisco 49ers being my pick. Finally, I'm going to pick a road team and a road upset, and I'm going to take San Francisco to get it done here. Cowboys are still good too. Dak playing really great. I mean, yeah, 5 touchdowns last week. They look to be kind of in playoff mode when they took down the Eagles, but man, yeah, that would be such a sad halt to an end of a great season for Dallas, but it happens in the playoffs. That's what the playoffs are for. And it sucks to win 12 games in the regular season and they get bounced in the first round. So, of course, the Cowboys have a chance in this game. They're very talented. But I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling the Niners right now. I don't know why, Jake, but give me San Francisco. What do you think?
That's fair. Watching, you mentioned the close loss to the Tennessee Titans for the 49ers. And that's really the only 49ers action I've watched all season long. And, if I thought that team would win a playoff game, they would have put away the Titans on that Thursday night because, they could have been a 14-0 game really, really early. But Jimmy Garoppolo throws the interception to Jack Rabbit Jenkins in the end zone. Massive play. Changed the whole tide of the game, really. And then when the Titans were able to mount any kind of semblance of an offense, they scrape down the field, get a Randy Bullock field goal. So now maybe the needle is shifting in momentum a little bit. What does Jimmy Garoppolo go and do? First play after the field goal, throws another interception. So I don't really have a bunch of faith in Jimmy G and this 49ers team to put teams away. And especially with a team like Dallas who can score points at will when they're on. I mean, when they're off, it's ugly, but when they're on, they can really, really run it up. So while I don't trust Mike McCarthy all that much as a head coach, I trust him enough to advance to the divisional round, Justin. I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this one.
You trust him a little more than Jimmy G. Man, Jake, that is a great point. I think the Niners will go as far as Jimmy G is able to take them and not hurt them, maybe more specifically. If he plays clean football and plays just really well, this team could go to the NFC Championship game, I think. I mean, I think that's the key is that position, quarterback. How well is Jimmy G going to play and take care of the football? It really kind of comes down to him. And he's shown several times that, especially against the Titans, he cost them really in that game particularly. So, dude, I like it. I mean, Cowboys are going to be a tough task on the road, but we'll see. Very excited to see how that game plays out. Next up, Sunday Night Football. Jake, we've got the Steelers sneaking in. Those sneaky devils are back in the AFC playoffs. We thought they were dead at many points this season, but here they are again. And I'm happy to see it because it cost a Colts collapse at the end. I got to throw in another Colts jab, of course. But because of that, the Steelers are now rewarded with a road trip to Arrowhead Stadium where it feels like they just played, and they got beaten pretty soundly, Jake, by the Kansas City Chiefs, who are giving it another go here. Chiefs, a 3-time AFC champion. I think they've been to, or 2-time AFC champion.
2 times, should have been 3, because they gave it up against the Patriots in Mahomes' first real year.
Yeah, that overtime. Yeah, they got you. Yeah. So Chiefs, again, right there, trying to make it 3 times in the AFCs. We'll see. Jake, I'll let you take this one first. Man, what a sweet treat that would be for the Steelers. That's another scenario for the Titans not to see the Bengals, is if the Steelers somehow go on the road and upsets the Chiefs here. Can they do it? I'm kind of hoping so. I want another crack at the Steelers after what they did to us about a month ago in that ugly game.
I'm right there with you. And we mentioned this in our kind of season wrap up. As far as the Titans were concerned, who did you want to see in the playoffs? If Pittsburgh and Big Ben can rah-rah themselves and retirement tour themselves into winning this football game, I would love nothing more than another crack at the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think I saw that Juju Smith-Schuster was designated to return from injured reserve. So that could be a little bit of a boost to this Pittsburgh offense. It's also dubbing this game the TikTok Bowl, because you have Jackson Mahomes on one side, Juju and Chase Claypool on the other. Who's going to make the best, most viewed TikTok is going to be another asset to watch in this game.
Whoever gets the most likes and views should be the team that advances. It should just become a TikTok.
I like that. That's good. And it goes back to Big Ben's quote. Let's just have fun. Let's just film a couple of dance TikToks and we'll have some fun. So, Justin, I don't know why. I just feel it in the wind. I feel the same feeling that I got when the media and everybody was talking about the game, the Titans going to Baltimore in 2019 to go play them as the number 1 seed. The Titans had no shot. Like literally, like if the Steelers don't have a shot this week in terms of the media, the Titans had already lost throughout the week leading up to that game. And when you just hear that and you feel that and you know that Mike Tomlin's still over there, he's a winning head coach, and Big Ben, this is it. This is really it for Big Ben. Is he going to go out there and, like I said, rah-rah themselves to a win? Justin is my upset special of the week. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Arrowhead, knocking out the Chiefs, doing the rest of the AFC playoff field a huge favor, and talk about a really wide open AFC playoff race if the Steelers can pull the rug out from underneath Kansas City. Justin, I'm going to take them just because I think it's fun, and I would love another crack at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes, dude, I love it. That would be so beautiful to see. Man, yeah. What would it take? I mean, you've got to have that defense, man. Just start swarming Patrick Mahomes. That's what they can do. Get after the quarterback. TJ Watt tied the season sack record, and they got Cameron Hayward. They got some guys up front. Obviously, the Titans saw them time and time again when we played the Steelers. And that's how you got to beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Get them flustered, get them flushed out of the pocket. We held them to 3 points by doing that. Get some fumbles, strip the ball out. I mean, it's going to take a few of those things to go your way, and I think the Steelers defense can make it happen. Their Achilles heel is their rush defense. And is Clyde Edwards-Helaire healthy?
He's out.
He's out. Who's the next guy? Damian Williams? They still have him. I mean, this Chiefs offense really runs through Mahomes in the air attack. So, I mean, as long as the Steelers can stop the run when the Chiefs decide to do so, I think their defense stands a good chance to kind of slow down Patrick Mahomes here. So it could be, a low-scoring, ugly, cold weather, physical game where every hit just hurts a little bit more and slows down the game just a little bit more. So, I could see it. It's in the realm. Since the Titans beat the Ravens 2 years ago in the playoffs, anything is possible in the NFL playoffs. No one should be just totally taken off guard by any one upset, but just to be the boring contrarian, I'm going to be safe. And in the good sport of competition here, Jake, I'm going against you with a bold prediction that the Chiefs will get it done against the Steelers in Arrowhead at home here. Right. So, man, yeah, a lot of disrespect on Vegas too. 12.5-point favorites for the Chiefs. I might take the Steelers with the with that bet there. I think it could be a closer game. here. They're going to fight hard for Big Ben. They're there to have fun, Jake. We've said it here already before, but they're going to have fun in this game. It could be TikTok, but even if they have to play football, yeah. Even if they're forced to play football instead to determine a winner, I think they'll have fun doing that too.
Yes.
All right. So now for the first ever Monday night wild card playoff game. I already talked about my displeasure for seeing there being a Monday night playoff game at all, because I think it could present an unfair disadvantage for the next game for the winner. But anyway, we got the Rams hosting the Arizona Cardinals. Who is actually the better team in this division? These two teams split. I guess we could say the same thing. Could have said the same thing about Bills Patriots, but these two teams split, so they got to go at it a third time. And yeah, I really don't know. I mean, these NFC teams I haven't watched a lot of, but how are you feeling? I'm just going to throw it to you. I've been doing these long intros.
That's fair.
You take it away. What do you see here?
Okay. Arizona slumping over the second half of the year, not really looking like themselves. Couldn't do the Titans. We always keep talking about these games in reference to the Titans, which is, you know, it's Titans
too.
The only time we see them play. Come on. So the Cardinals couldn't do the Titans a favor in that sloppy Indianapolis game. That was a lot of a Cardinals game that I did watch this season. And, you know, on the other side, the Rams don't scream to me either, really, as an NFC favorite in this field. You know, the old saying goes, Justin, you can't buy a Super Bowl. And those flashy Hollywood Rams keep trying to buy a Super Bowl and they keep coming up short. So I don't really expect this year to be any exception. But when the Rams are hot, they are red hot. And when they're cold, they are ice cold, man. So it's going to be, which Rams team do you see in this game? Can Arizona do enough? Can Kyler Murray be a superhero enough for the Arizona Cardinals in this game? I don't think he can, Justin. I'm going to go with the home team, Los Angeles Rams, to get it done here. But prove me wrong, Rams, I guess, but I don't see it coming out of the NFC.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. The Rams, you know, they've been the most consistent team. They started out hot, then they dropped like 3 straight, and then they won out until their last game here against the 49ers in overtime. So the consistency outside of that 3-game stretch in the middle of the season there, they've been there. We've seen what they are. Very talented, like you said. Man, they just got to be careful here, Jake. I was looking at their record too, more in depth a little bit, and they went 3-3 against division opponents. They are not that good in this division, and that includes a sweep. They got swept by the 49ers, split with the Cardinals, and then swept the Seahawks. Dude, it's kind of a head. It messes with your head if you look at the teams that swept each other in the NFC West. It's so bizarre, and that I think every team swept a different one within the division. It's crazy. So the Rams lost over half their season games to their own division opponents. So if they get past the Cardinals, they probably should keep their fingers crossed they don't see the Niners. But they've been struggling here, and I can't believe that the Rams, with all the hype and all their championships they buy, or trying to buy with all these superstar players, could come crashing down and won the first playoff game. But just to be contrarian again, maybe I'm going to pick these Arizona Cardinals to get it done.
Go Birds.
Sure. I think they kind of, go Birds. They get back to your early season form. They're going to need Kyler to be playing like the Kyler they had earlier in the season. And, you know, both of these teams, you know, I said the Rams have been winning, but they've been looking sloppy in some of these games too. Like they barely pulled one out against the Ravens when they were down Lamar. So not very convincing in some of these wins. And the same thing can be said about the Cardinals. It's hard to really trust either of these teams. But again, with this being a division opponent for the Rams, I think the Cardinals are finally, you know, they're there in the playoffs. This is the first time. They should have made it last year without that season collapse. And then I think it's since the Carson Palmer Cardinals that this team's finally in. This is Kyler Murray's first playoff game? Yes, or am I wrong about that?
I think so. I think you are right.
So who knows what to expect? Could he fold in the playoffs, or does he elevate his game like we see the great ones do it? So I don't know, kind of a wild card here in this wild card game. See what I did there. I'll take Arizona though to get the upset, and I haven't picked enough road teams in this wild card weekend yet. So I'll take the Cardinals, and then I got the Niners, I think, and those are my road teams, and everything else I'm playing safe here.
Yep, and my road teams are New England and Pittsburgh, which, less safe, maybe more Evel Knievel, jump the shark, Fonzie kind of thing. But you know what? There's something about that Pittsburgh Kansas City game, man. When a team has no chance, when a team has been written off completely, that's when the NFL flips the storyline on its head, and that's what makes watching these playoff games so great, Justin.
Yes, dude, absolutely, man. I'm excited to see it. We'll be back next week to do a preview video. But before we wrap it up, I mean, Titans off, Green Bay Packers off. Are we looking at these two teams to be at least in the conference championship game? Is there any NFC opponents you could see that could be a Packers undoing? Who could go into Lambeau Field and get a win? We've already talked about, Bengals, Chiefs. Those are the two teams that we think could really come into Nissan Stadium and give the Titans problems. But I don't know. What are you saying? Maybe bigger picture? Maybe previewing the divisional round?
So as far as that, we'll do the Packers first, Justin. And I just don't see anybody in this NFC field beating the Green Bay Packers, which is, like I just said, when you've already penciled in a team, that's when they get the rug pulled out from underneath. So I just, if I'm going based off my picks, I have the Rams advancing, Dallas advancing, and Tampa Bay. Can any of those three teams upend the Packers? Tampa Bay obviously did it last year in the NFC title game. Does Brady have enough left in the tank? Obviously he does. He just led the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards at 44. No, he's not 44.
43.
Is he? 43.
He threw 43 touchdowns. Yeah, he's 44 years old. He almost threw his age in touchdown passes.
That's unbelievable. So you got to give it up to Tom Brady and the Bucs. Dallas, Mike McCarthy revenge game, going to Lambeau and knocking off the Packers. I don't quite see it. There's something about Mike McCarthy I can't get over. And then also the Rams, you saw it last year, this flashy Hollywood looking Rams. They have the super modern uniforms and they're flying in, and you got to go play on a frozen field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And they just couldn't do it. Yeah. They just can't do it. The Rams, they would need the Packers to come to LA for me to realistically see that upset. So I still have Green Bay as my favorite. For the Titans, Justin, I think the only team that can beat the Titans is the Titans, because if they're fully loaded, if Julio's on the field, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry are on the field, and Ryan Tannehill's protected well, the Titans defense is good enough, man. They really have a good shot this year. Having that first round bye is huge. It's going to come down to the AFC title game. I think that the Titans can advance past the divisional. I don't quite see their first round or first seed woes continuing, because the two times before that the Titans have had the first round bye in Nashville, they've lost one and done. So I don't see that happening a third time. Whoever we play, I'm not quite sure. But obviously you're worried about the Chiefs. I think the Bills would be hungry for another shot to come to Nissan Stadium.
Yep.
But we'll see, man. I'm not going to lay it out on the line and say the Titans are going to go to the Super Bowl or anything like that. But, man, I see you grinning ear to ear, dude. I feel like this team is close. They're knocking on the door, and this is a huge, huge opportunity for the Tennessee Titans. So no future bets from me on the Titans, at least right now. They still have great odds, like plus 300 to win the AFC alone, not even the Super Bowl. So if you are a betting man, go wager your money on the Titans, but do it responsibly and tell them Jake sent.
Yes. Tell them Jake sent you. Where'd you get that?
BetMGM gave me a sponsorship.
Very nice. I love that you said the team that could beat the Titans is the Titans if they so choose to do that. I totally agree, dude. If we are at our best with our best players on the field, even if our opponent in the AFC plays their best, they still will not be able to beat us, because that's how good this team can be when it's playing its best and executing and not turning the ball over, committing penalties, but mostly not turning the ball over. Man, if Ryan Tannehill, I don't want to throw it all on Tannehill, but this is a huge postseason for Tannehill, dude. I hate to throw a lot of pressure on him, but after the performance last year, say what?
It is a huge postseason for Tannehill. It is a massive postseason for Ryan Tannehill's future in Tennessee. I'm very much on the same page.
Yeah, just because referencing the playoff loss last year when the passing game was non-existent, and just that season floundered after that against the Ravens. But so yeah, huge for Tannehill to get involved. Of course, all the attention is going to be on Derrick Henry, but man, this playoff run is very possibly and should be on Tannehill's shoulders. Your most important player at the most important position is your quarterback. So I can't wait to see what Tanny does next week, and hopefully he can find his rhythm with A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, and now Anthony Firkser is splashing on the scene as a viable weapon. And Nick Westbrook-Akina, welcome to a quality wide receiver 3 position on this football team.
Absolutely.
And the dynamic running back plethora of weapons we now have with Henry and Foreman and Hilliard. I mean, Tannehill, just take care of the ball, just get it done. Don't overthink it, play your game. And yeah, we are going to be such a difficult team to beat in the playoffs. I'm hyped. I'm hyping myself up too much, Jake. I need to come down to earth and just enjoy this football playoff weekend here amongst these other inferior teams that just couldn't secure a bye week. What a bunch of losers, dude. What a bunch of loser playoff teams these guys are.
when the Titans were just that last season, to my head, 2 seasons prior. Yeah,
it's already got to my head. I'm already just way too prideful and boastful.
That's fine. Here. And yeah. I'm with you. I think I won't go so far as to say if Ryan Tannehill doesn't turn the ball over, because you saw in that Pittsburgh game, he had an interception, but like the other 3-4 turnovers were on other people, not taking care of the football. So I'll go so far as to say if the Titans don't turn the football over in the divisional and the AFC Championship, they have 0 turnovers, they'll go to the Super Bowl, Justin. I will go that far as to say that, because it's been their undoing. And you look at other past teams the Titans have played this season, the New England game I've brought up several times, that they had the Patriots right where they wanted them with, a practice squad team out there, but they just couldn't hold on to the football. It was a 6-point game. Foreman busts off a huge run deep into New England territory, boom, punched out, fumble, and it's all erased. And then obviously it just starts unraveling from there. Yeah. But Justin, anything can happen. I am so excited. I'm trying not to let it go to my head. I'm trying not to dream of Super Bowls in my head and dreams at night. But man, what an opportunity for this franchise, for this team, for Mike Vrabel to really start climbing the mountain as a great NFL head coach. I do think he already is a great NFL head coach, but man, if he can start stacking playoff wins, wow, talking Ring of Honor kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and he'll be inducted in the Ring of Honor while he's presently still the coach.
Coaching.
Anoint him mid. We'll do it mid game, even mid tenure with the Titans, mid game, whatever. He's done such an incredible job here. So hopefully he gets some hardware with the job he's done here. Well, that's still to be determined. And yeah, I guess that's all we got. That's all. We just got these 6 games. We talked about them. Talked about the future playoff implications here with the Titans. Anything else, Jake? You got any other things? Any shout outs, sports related or not? Who cares?
No shout outs, sports related or not. Shout out to all of the wildcard teams and not division winners. Would much rather have you guys come to Nissan Stadium next week. So somebody go out there and flip an upset, be it New England, be it Pittsburgh, be it the Las Vegas Raiders, Justin.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for me. I think that's going to do it for you as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Everybody who's participating in Wild Card Weekend, have a great football weekend. Hope all of your teams win and everybody has fun. Tighten up, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
I'm hoping every team wins. Love it. Yes.